it's what you want to see. I mean, I read an interesting thing on a forum. I'm forgetting where it was now. Somebody said, "Well, Batman might have survived," and everyone was like, "There was 5 seconds on the clock." Basically, what you've just said. There's no way he could have survived, and people said, "Yeah, but if they're doing a Justice League film, what could have happened was Superman could have like flown in to save him, and basically it might be, like the Man of Steel's first deed as Superman, and it might be in the Man of Steel. It was like I would probably have a wank in the cinema if that happened, but it's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
No, that'd
So
be like, I know what you're saying. That'd be like amazing, but I can't see that not happening.
I mean, as good as it, I mean, I'll always love every one of them films, all 3 of them. I think we've got to thank Nolan for giving us so much more than the Batman film, because
Mm.
it had all the elements in there to keep you happy as a Batman, and all the things that he changed, it never bothered me. Now, if it was anybody else, sometimes I'm shouting at the screen saying, "Oh, for fuck's sake, they wouldn't do that," or "What the hell are they doing that for?" or "That's wrong." But with him, because he's a good storyteller first, and he had people like David Goyer to say, "Whoa, you've got to have this in." He was the comic book sort of mediator in a way, that you must
Yeah,
have this, this, and this, but write your own story and do what you want. Because Nolan always said he was never a comic book, fan in
fan.
terms of
Yeah, fan, yeah.
So in some ways, I don't know. I think he's made the Batman character better. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's took it to a different level, and he's made the character so more in depth and like approachable, if you will, more human.
Yeah.
Than obviously the. I feel like swearing when I say his name, Joel Schumacher.
It's like instant Tourette's in it. It's like wanker, wanker.
It's obviously someone who had no, in my opinion, had no respect for Batman.
Well, no, I must
to
admit, right?
do something like that.
I look at it differently now, though, right? And please don't hang up, and please don't say fuck off. The superhero podcast is never happening again. Fuck you, you loser. I have actually got it on Blu-ray, but before you hang up, right?
No, I've got the Batman anthology on
Because
Blu-ray as well.
exactly, and that's the only reason why it's in there. And I did watch it again, right? And I thought, right, it is absolute piss take. What the fuck are we doing? But at the same time, when you think about it, if that was released on its own and not after Batman Forever and not in the same anthology, if they said it was a standalone thing that they tried to, make more for kids and to sell toys and it flopped and there was never another one, I think I would have accepted it more, because it is Adam West with £90 million in bat nipples. That's all it is. It's not.
Well, it is. It's just so. It's so 60s, isn't it? I mean, even in Forever, the character of Robin wasn't that bad.
No.
With all the one-liners, but when it got to Batman and Robin, it was just ridiculous, and the ice skates in the boots and the bat nipples and the holy showdown, Batman.
I mean, I think the reason why Forever is still watchable, and believe it or not, where you've got the anthology, so you'll know that's better than the cinematic release, isn't it? It's got like a bit more darker like scenes in it.
Yeah, Forever, yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe the reason why that was still watchable was because it still had Tim Burton as the producer.
Yeah. See, I obviously when Dark Knight first came out, I couldn't see anybody else doing the Joker apart from Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, same here.
But then obviously it's two different Jokers, isn't it? I mean, don't get me wrong, the original Batman is still one of my favourite films of all time.
Yeah.
But the Dark Knight, Heath Ledger, Christopher Nolan, they took it a totally different way.
What I love with Ledger's Joker is the fact that he's still the same guy in terms of he's a lunatic, but they made him a lot smarter because he has no rules. Means that without breaking your own rules, you can't defeat him. Which is, I mean, Bruce Wayne or Batman was really worried at one point, thinking, "I think I'm going to have to kill him to stop him." That was, he basically, in so many words, was thinking that.
Yeah, it was like his one rule, there, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is with the Joker, he wasn't like Jack Nicholson played him a bit like the comics and a bit like the '60s version, only darker, where he was laughing every 5 minutes, and that is the Joker. Heath only did it rarely. He was more sinister and freaky and just insane.
Yeah.
And he laughed around the mayhem, so it wasn't like you say, two totally different versions, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so I mean, a lot of people have said, this might be a new beginning for the Nolan universe. Well, it's not. Just leave it now. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, obviously, Christopher Nolan's not going to do another Batman film.
No.
Let's all not lose any sleep about anything. He's not going to do another Batman film, and I'm happy with that. That's it. His trilogy is done.
Well, it's perfect,
what I don't want is someone come in and try and carry that trilogy.
No.
Do you know what I mean? If they're going to do a reboot, let them do a total reboot, because they're on about, obviously, well, Warner Brothers has already said they're going to do a reboot because obviously they want to somehow have maybe a Justice League film, which I think obviously is a good idea, because you've got so many good characters in the Justice League, just like having the Avengers.
Yeah.
And apparently, don't know if you've heard this,
right,
but Wonder Woman makes an appearance in The Man of Steel.
Right. Well, I've heard Spider-Man was going to show up in the Avengers and he didn't. I've heard that Superman was going to have a cameo on the Green Lantern and he didn't. So I'm going to pretty much say that's not going to happen. I haven't heard that, but I bet it doesn't. I mean, I think you're right. I think Warner Brothers sort of used Marvel as a test dummy. If the Avengers flopped, they would never make a Justice League film because it's made serious money. Now we're saying, oh shit, we're going to have to get in the game here. And the thing is, they've always been behind. But the thing is, don't forget, Marvel Studios is Marvel Comics, just the film division. So
yeah, exactly.
That's why their stuff's so good. The comic makers and creators are making the films. They've got comic book writers who are writing certain versions of the characters at this point in time, contributing to the film scripts. So,
yeah.
It's bound to be good. There's not many of DC's characters still alive now. Bob Kane was around to see the Michael Keaton one. And, Stan Lee's still alive, so that's half of the Marvel Universe. So, apart from that, I mean, you can do whatever you want with DC's characters. There's no one to stop you or sue you, really. But I don't know. I just think, I mean, if they do Batman again, I think they need to obviously reboot it, but they need to do it more comic book.
Yeah, I was going to say that. They need to go a bit more comic book, but not Joel Schumacher.
Well, basically, a bit like I keep saying Arkham Asylum games. If they did it like that...
Oh, if they did it like that, that'd be amazing.
Because then you could have Killer Croc and Clayface and all the people you would never ever see in a Nolan film. You could have them, but still...
Harley Quinn and all them people, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be good. The only thing I'm worried about with a Justice League film is they're obviously going to copy exactly what Marvel's done, which is they'll probably have solo movies of the main ones, like possibly Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, the Green Lantern. No, I don't know if they're going to count Ryan Reynolds as part of that. I don't know if they're going to count...
Well, I was just about to say, what do you think? Do you think they'll reboot Green Lantern, or do you think they'll have Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern?
I think that isn't beyond saving. I mean, personally, the visuals were fantastic.
It was just a story.
Well, the story wasn't even that bad. It was just, there was a lot of cheese in it.
I told you that before you went to watch it.
Yeah, I know. And so I don't know, but are we going to include the Man of Steel in the Justice League? Is the Man of Steel Nolan's own universe? He said when he was first had an idea about writing the Man of Steel, he said that Superman's the only superhero in the world and Batman's the only superhero in the world, and they don't exist in each other's universe. But has Warner Brothers got other plans to make the Man of Steel films?
I'll put it on the webpage. That there is an article saying that they're hoping that Man of Steel is going to be the catalyst for the Justice League film.
Right, I hope it is.
And at some point in the film, Wonder Woman will show up, even if it's just like 10 seconds or something, like maybe an after-credit scene.
Right.
But that's the idea.
But do you not...
Man of Steel is going to be the starting point for it.
But do you not think that if they do that and they have a few solo movies and then they have a team up, it's just copying what Marvel's done? Like, is there some way of doing different...
I don't know any other way they could go around it, because I don't think...
Well, I tell you what I think they should do it.
I tell you what though, it's got to be a brave director to just say, I tell you what, if they've done Man of Steel, it's got to be someone really brave, and they've got to have a really, really good story to say, right, we're not going to do any solo films, we're going to go straight into a Justice League film.
I tell you what I think they should do. I think they should have solo films, right?
Yeah.
And whoever the villains are in each of the solo films, I think the team-up movie should be a villain movie. And I think it should be the villains can't defeat their sort of antagonist, the hero, on their own. So be teaming up. But teaming up brings everybody else to create a team. So you'd have a villain movie with the heroes in as the heroes. It would be backwards.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if that would work or not, but
in a way, that's sort of like the animated version. Is it Justice League 32 Worlds?
Oh right, yeah.
So it's sort of like that, I suppose.
So I mean, I think it's like we've said. I mean, you know, we've covered the Dark Knight in this episode, but you know, it's a great time to be a comic book fan. I think this has been the best year so far, even though we are getting the Man of Steel next year, and he's always going to be my favourite superhero, so I'm looking forward to that. Probably more than the Dark Knight Rises. But I don't know, I just think, like, that's all we're getting next year, you know. I mean, Iron Man 3's coming out, I think. But we've had loads this year. We've had the Dark Knight Rises, the Avengers, and the Amazing Spider-Man. We usually just have about 2 a year, don't we?
Yeah.
So
is Thor 2 not next year?
I don't know. Possibly.
I think it is.
Yeah, it might be. What about Captain America 2? And when's that coming out? Is that the year after?
I think that's the Winter Soldier, the year after.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a comic book fan, the Winter Soldier's giving it away, isn't it, really?
Just a bit.
So, but obviously to somebody else, it's going to be a shock. Ooh, how did he survive? But, like, obviously we know, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Well, I think we've said all we need to say, really, on our first episode.
I think we have. We've gone over by about 10 minutes, but so what, you know what I mean? It's still good knowledge and stuff, so it's good for people to listen to, isn't it?
Aye. And obviously people got to hear your Bane impression, which will be the highlight of the podcast for me.
Aye. So, I think what we'll do is we'll announce what we're going to talk about in the next one, obviously on the page. And anyone who's listening, obviously we're not going to have like an email system, are we? We're just going to basically, any questions you've got that you might want us to read out or answer or anything like that, then just write it on the page and we'll pick it up, won't we?
That's it.
And we'll do it that way, and just please just join in more. You know what I mean? Just get talking. It's good crack, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think that's it for now. So join us for episode 2, whenever that is, when we can be asked.
I think it'll be I'd say a couple of weeks just before the Avengers Blu-ray release.
Yeah, aye. And then we can talk about that, can't we?
Aye.
Which we've both got pre-ordered.
I have. Amazon.
Aye.
Oosh.
Exactly. So thanks for listening, everyone, and join us again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much.